On tonight's CTV News, broken houses are going through the roof or falling off a cliff. Construction costs are getting steeper, and the PM was in town today to give clarity over the residential red zone and other aspects of the rebuild. This is CTV News, I'm Grant Mangan. The future of the residential red zone is still unknown and won't be revealed for many months. The Prime Minister updated the business community about red zone issues and a number of other matters this morning. Marcus Gibbs was there.
For the 7,300 red zoners, this is the news they've been waiting for. What will the future use of the streets and land they once called home look like? During the Canterbury Employers Chamber of Commerce breakfast, attended by about 700 people this morning, the Prime Minister announced a new public campaign which will influence the government's decision about this.
We want to hear from the people of Christchurch and Kaiapoi what they want to see happen to this land, whether this is parks, playing fields, cycleways or other innovative ideas.
One of the more popular ideas so far has been focused on the red zone being turned into a city-to-sea ecological reserve and recreational river park. The government's already committed to cleaning up 3 kilometres of the Avon River as it runs through the city centre. But Evan Smith of the Avon Otakaro network wants the government to extend the project. He's hoping the public share that view. He just hopes their voices will be heard.
It does look quite promising. From what the Prime Minister was saying this morning, it sounds like they are seriously considering things such as ecological reserves and river parks and cycleways and all the things we've been advocating for the last 2.5 years.
The Earthquake Recovery Minister and other agencies will be working with Ngāi Tahu to design the consultation process.
The red zone lands through the east of Christchurch have been a real scar on the landscape there, and it's time that we started healing that. But that will take some time to make sure that all the community is heard on what they'd like to see there.
But before it can be launched, the Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Authority and the Christchurch City Council still have work to do.
Before the future can be decided, ownership issues and infrastructure issues will of course need to be sorted out. This includes things like road layouts and water, wastewater and stormwater networks.
The government offer to purchase the land has cost the taxpayer hundreds of millions of dollars. The Prime Minister says while the land may be severely damaged, it doesn't mean the government can't devise new ways to use it. He expects more details to be announced on the project by the middle of the year. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The Prime Minister also updated the business community on various aspects of the rebuild. Here's Marcus Gibbs again.
The Prime Minister was all smiles this morning as he spoke at the Canterbury Employer Chamber of Commerce breakfast. He had reason to be smiling as he spoke about the strong regional economy and the progress in the private sector. There are now more than 200 buildings either underway or consented within Christchurch's 4 avenues. The government's contribution to the rebuild has increased to about $15 billion. Each day the government's paying an estimated $9 million in rebuild invoices. But then the Prime Minister touched on challenges with insurance settlements, and things weren't so rosy. Following the earthquakes, there were just over 450,000 claims and more than 170,000 dwellings in Christchurch. So far, just over 53,000 home repairs have been completed under the EQC-managed Canterbury Home Repair Programme. That means in 3 years, 2/3 of the damaged homes EQC is responsible for have been repaired. EQC's aim is to finish these under-cap repairs by the end of the year.
Some people have the view that the repair of residential properties is not going quickly enough, and as I said earlier in my remarks, I completely understand their frustration. But the fact is that there are some very complex issues government and local agencies and insurers are dealing with.
The Prime Minister has highlighted a major issue of multi-unit buildings. The Earthquake Commission's finding repairing these buildings difficult. The Prime Minister says it's part of the reason why there have been delays with repairs.
There are 6,500 multi-unit buildings containing around 18,000 units in the city. Each of these units has a separate owner who has their own insurance, or in some case, and sadly, no insurance at all.
He says it's such a complicated process that EQC has 80 staff members working on this alone.
To fix the buildings, the owners of the individual units have to agree on various aspects of the repairs. and there are multiple insurance companies involved. If they all have to agree on the lead company to coordinate the repairs.
The Prime Minister says there are many unit owners who don't have insurance and others who can't agree on repairs. It's causing a headache for EQC. It's one situation where the Prime Minister doesn't have an answer on what to do. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Demolition crews worked through the night, pulling down a Sumner house that was quite literally falling off the cliff.
2 homes had to be evacuated after a red zone home was teetering on the cliff edge after splitting in half. The damaged home on Richmond Hill was putting 2 homes at danger below, and demolition crews worked under floodlight, removing the dangerous half of the house hanging over the cliff. The Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Authority determined the home was in immediate danger of collapsing and began demolishing the house yesterday afternoon. Sarah says they regularly check the home, and it had last been checked by an engineer a week ago where it showed no risk of collapse. The home was unoccupied after Sarah brought the property under the government's red zone buyout offer at the start of 2013. The owner says he'd watched the property deteriorate for some time.
A damaged and uninsured home on TC3 land in Merivale has sold for over $1 million. The market for as-is homes emerged after the earthquake, initially for cheaper damaged homes where buyers paid little more than land value for the property. That market has now spread to all price brackets. Taking advantage of a high market, sellers are taking the opportunity to opt out of repairs while retaining their EQC and insurance settlements. The prices are attractive and the homes suit investors with enough cash to buy without borrowing. Local investors in the rebuild are feeling ignored and fed up with government authorities who are targeting overseas investors instead.
One local is warning overseas developers not to invest in Christchurch. Local city developer Richard Prebles believes government officials don't even engage with locals wanting a piece of a multi-million-dollar rebuild. Mr Prebles has more than 20 developments across the city and says officials never tried to woo local investors because they were too busy unsuccessfully chasing international money. Mr Prebles says no one has ever sat down with investors, and the Crown's compulsory buy-up of Central City land sent the wrong message. Peter Townsend, the Chief Executive of the Canterbury Employers Chamber of Commerce, agrees the investment arm isn't working to its potential, believing a clear pathway for overseas investment needs to be given. The Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Authority and the Christchurch Central Development Unit staged investment roadshows around New Zealand, Australia, the United Kingdom and America. But Sarah believes they are working closely with local developers. The CCDU says the international trips by Sarah weren't aimed at solely investing, but to help understand lessons learned by others, undertaking large-scale urban regeneration, along with other conferences to help towards the rebuild. The CCDU has also held 21 meetings targeting landowners, developers and investors last year.
The government is hoping to kick-start the rebirth of the central city, with thousands of workers expected to pour into new office buildings by the end of the year.
Next spring could see the city filled with almost 2,000 public servants, part of the government's plan to kick-start the central city. A total of 1,700 office workers will move into leased buildings in Cashel and Hereford streets. The buildings are being privately built, with the final contracts expected within weeks. The press reported that 2 of the office buildings will form Litchfield Holdings' $100 million Cashel Square development in the City Mall. Other offices are planned to be on the former National Bank site on Hereford Street and in a $70 million tiered building on the former Grand Chancellor Hotel site. The buildings will be up to 7 stories high, accommodating private office tenants, shops and cafes. Landlords for the buildings say the government played hardball, bombarding them with 10 times the usual paperwork and agreeing to rents at the low end of feasible. The press understands rents are to be less than $400 a square metre, plus operating expenses. 20 government departments will take 24,000 square metres at the sites, including the Ministry of Social Development, ACC, Housing New Zealand and Statistics New Zealand.
The cost of building a house is high in Canterbury and industry insiders expect costs to increase. But the rising costs may be a little less steep, for a while at least.
The cost of building a new house in Canterbury continues to rise, but at a more gradual rate. According to new Consumer Price Index figures, the outlay for building a new house in Canterbury was 7.6% higher in the March quarter compared to the same quarter last year. This is a decrease compared to a comparable figure in December last year of 9.5%. Because Canterbury construction is growing at a much faster rate than the rest of the country, there are more labour costs and some companies can hike up margins. Nationally, new house inflation is 5.1%, with Auckland slightly higher at 5.9%. House rent increases are also well ahead of the national average. New build inflation peaked at around 12% in March 2013. While the growth rate has temporarily plateaued, house builds and repairs in Canterbury will rear up in quarters to come. Big commercial projects are set to be underway in Christchurch soon, as well as Christchurch City Council projects, notably the repair of the Town Hall, followed by the Metro Sports, Bus Exchange and Convention Centre anchor projects.
Coming up, it was the end of an era today for Littleton Main School.
Let's face it, everyone has an agenda. And guess what? So do I. Every week, I'll pick 3 stories that grab my attention. Agenda with me, Brent Goff.
Hi, I'm Steve and welcome to Carpet Kingdom. At Carpet Kingdom we stock a massive range of carpets and we're also the largest vinyl stockist in the South Island. And not only do we have an excellent range in store, but you can purchase our stock online. We offer free measuring quotes, we have our own installation team, we ship nationwide, so come on down and see us at Carpet Kingdom. 312 Wilsons Road in Waltham, just off Brougham Street, or visit us online at carpetkingdom.co.nz.
Action Removals, offering short or long-term storage facilities, full packing services, comprehensive rates, all fully insured and with 6 vehicle sizes to choose from. Earthquake repairs? Action Removals pack, move, store and return your valuable possessions stress-free. Action Removals, a family business that has been operating in Christchurch for over 10 years. Action Removals, your one-stop removal service on time, every time. 0800 222 526.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
Avoid the monkeys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options are also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring moving company.
Oi! Al Jazeera News, international news right off the satellite, bringing you up-to-the-minute coverage of world events. Al Jazeera News, weekday mornings at 6 o'clock, right here on CTV.
The school bell rang for the last time at Littleton Main School as students go on their school holidays. When students start back next term, they'll be with pupils from Littleton West School as part of the Ministry of Education school changes. The new Littleton Primary School should open in Oxford Street in July 2015. Anzac Day is only a week away and poppies are already on sale for gold coin donations.
Every year, poppies pop up everywhere leading up to Anzac Day. Today is Poppy Day, when RSA volunteers come out in force. Christchurch Airport is hosting a field of poppies outside the entrance to the terminal today. Visitors are able to make donations and pick the poppy they want to wear. Poppy Day is one of the oldest nationwide appeals, being commemorated since 1922. The poppies symbolise remembrance for the men and women who gave their lives in service to their country. They are also the RSA's biggest fundraiser, with donations going toward the welfare and support of returned and ex-service personnel. The money can fill needs not always covered by work and income or ACC, such as for glasses, hearing aids and walking frames. The RSA also provides extensive support services to veterans and their families. Poppies will be on sale for a gold coin donation at various retail locations until next Friday. You can also donate to the cause on the RSA's website.
Warren Head joins us now with the weekly business news update.
I'm Warren Head from headliner.co.nz. Today the inflation numbers came out for the past year and boy, they're a big surprise. They were actually going down in some areas rather than going up, and that was pretty interesting in respect of two key parts of the market. One was in food and beverage. That was lower than expected, and the big surprise there, because I thought that food price inflation would be probably the underlying cause of a lift in inflation this period. The other one, of course, is housing, and new housing continues to ramp up aggressively. In Christchurch, up by 7.6% over the past year, nationally 5.1%, and Auckland somewhere in between. The issue in Auckland, of course, is not enough supply of homes, which it is here as well. But two, they note that their rentals in flats and apartments up there were not going up at the rate that everybody expected. I suspect that's probably not the case in Christchurch. Certainly rentals, however, must have stabilised somewhat in the last few weeks. So that's been absorbed, and it looks like we're coming off to the top of that effect of the Reserve Bank tightening up there. In terms of banks, just a note for those people who live outside of Christchurch, one of their favourite banks, I guess, the agricultural bank Rabobank, has opened new premises in Christchurch. They've got the full spectrum of services there, mostly to the agricultural industries, the local rural banking division, a food and agriculture business division, and they call that Beyond the Farm Gate. If you're trying to find them, you will now find them as from Monday this week at 12 Papanui Road. So that's where the new premises are, with their logo up there. The other news I just wanted to mention today quite quickly is that everybody's getting keyed up for the listing of Genesis Energy shares, hopefully tomorrow on the market. Carefully timed this to whet interest in the appetite through Easter and see what happens next week. But of course the shares are being issued to the public at $1.55, and where will they go? Well, a lot of the investment broking and banking companies are saying probably up, apart from one firm which seems to be a little bit flat in its forecasts, but generally worth more than $1.55. And driving it, of course, is that very handsome gross dividend yield, a high 14.3%. Certainly beats money in the bank, and that's likely to be the cause of those shares moving higher through the weekend. There is some caution out there a bit further. One investment group, Craig's, saying, well, look, just factor in the fact that they're also including earnings from offshore Kupe, which will cease when the field runs down after about 2026. Well, that seems to me to be a long time away to worry about that. And I just note that there's still an oil well being drilled out there. They're doing what they call a sidetrack this week, but there was a reference in there to the possibility of a new oil reservoir in Tui. Not many details on that yet. Maybe they're saving it up till after Easter. I'm Warren Head for headliner.co.nz.
Still to come, we have the sport, traffic and weather updates.
Be immersed in the unique cultural highlights Germany has to offer every Tuesday night with Discover Germany. Tuesday at 7 p.m, right here on CTV.
Hi, I'm Mark, and welcome to Stay Well Pharmacy. Whatever the season, Stay Well Pharmacy has you covered. As an integrated pharmacy, we stock all the well-known pharmacy medicines, as well as quality nutritional and herbal treatments. Our team of pharmacists and full-time naturopath are here to help you find the products and advice to suit the needs of you and your family. So come in and see us at Stay Well Pharmacy, 27 Shands Road in Hornby. Stay Well Pharmacy, live well, stay well.
Christchurch has its very own enchanted utopia, the Hitching Post. Pop in and see for yourself. A magical assortment of handmade creations, custom-made candles and artwork. Choose from our huge range of water features, garden art and imported giftware. Specialists in handcrafted metal artwork made in store. Nestled on 722 Marshlands Road. The Hitching Post, defining art our way.
Potholes. To some, a simple hole in the ground, causing no harm and no concern. But don't let that fool you. Potholes are dangerous. Did you know potholes have been linked to numerous nasty falls and flat tires? So if you have a pothole situation on your property, don't panic. Call the Pothole Repair Company. They'll fix your potholes in a jiffy. So next time you see a pothole on your driveway or in your car park, call the Pothole Repair Company.
Hurst Auto Dismantlers, your one-stop shop for all your mechanical and car part needs. Our huge premises boasts a large selection of mechanical parts, panels, tyres and glass. Most makes and models are available on site, and if we don't have it, our trusted staff will do their best to source what you need locally and nationwide. So come in and see the team, or just give us a call and save time and money. Hurst Auto Dismantlers, 343 0099.
Drive It takes us on a ride to showcase the new arrivals to the motoring sphere, comparing and testing the latest models to discover the best. Drive It, Sunday afternoons at 12:30, right here on CTV.
Here's Gordon Findlater with an update on the upcoming Easter weekend's sporting action.
There's plenty of sporting action planned for the long weekend, although many of those participating in club grade action will be hoping the weather gods can throw them a favour, with potential cancellations looming. Starting off with Hawkins Cup Metro Rugby action, where this weekend's third round draw sees Christchurch at home to winless Belfast. Linwood will be looking to leapfrog Burnside at Linfield. Lincoln University look to maintain their perfect start when they take on Sydenham at Rugby Park, while high school Old Boys will be looking to do the same when they take on Marist at home. 2 from 2 New Brighton take on Shirley at Rawiti, while Sumner and University will both be looking for their first points of the season when they lock horns at St Leonard's. Saturday night's match against the Chiefs could prove to be the pivotal game of the Crusaders' season should they manage to grind out a win. The Crusaders, who had a well below par start to the season, have somewhat rectified the situation, winning their last 2 matches in South Africa to sit in 7th on the competition ladder. Saturday's match is the perfect chance to get one over their rivals, with the Chiefs currently experiencing a dip in form and they are without the influence of Aaron Cruden. Saturday night's match in Hamilton gets underway at 7:35. The Canterbury Rams will be hoping it's third time lucky as they search for their first win of the season when they take on old rivals the Otago Nuggets at Cal Stadium on Saturday. The Rams haven't looked out of their depth in their 2 losses this season, keeping themselves in the opening match against Wellington, while last weekend could have gone either way as they went down to Nelson by 1 point. Tip-off at Cal's is at 7 o'clock on Saturday. And finally, our mainland Tactics are in action on Easter Monday when they do battle with the Southern Steel at CBS Canterbury Arena. Monday night's game will be seen as another great opportunity for the Tactics to grab a win before they take on tougher opposition. The Southerners are on 4 points, just 2 ahead of the Tactics, who would go level with a win. That match gets underway at 7:40. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Findlater for CTV Sport.
If you're driving around the central city, here's your traffic update to assist you on your way.
Hello travellers, to help you plan your journey around the central city, here's another update on what's happening with the roads. Most work sites will close over the Easter break, but traffic management will remain in place around sites and equipment. Now let's take a look at your major east and west routes across the city. Exciting news, Kilmore Street at the Durham Street intersection has reopened to traffic. Both Kilmore and St Asaph Streets have work sites on them, which means during peak times in particular, these will be slow. Churham Street from Durham to Fitzgerald Avenue is restricted to eastbound traffic only. If you're looking for a faster route around the city, you can always use the 4 avenues. The Christchurch Transport Operations Centre and Skirt wish to thank everyone for being patient while work continues in the central city, and we wish you a happy and safe Easter break. Stay tuned this week for more updates on what's happening with the central city roads, and in the meantime visit the website Transport for Christchurch.
Now, usually at this point of the program, I look forward to introducing the weather. However, given the weather we've been having for the last couple of weeks, I almost feel as though I should apologise before we even broadcast it. However, we can only hope. Let's check out the original weather.
Kia ora Canterbury. Well, let's take a look at today's temperatures. Timaru, cold day there for you with 12 degrees today. Temuka and Geraldine, 12 degrees for you also. Ashburton, 11 degrees there. Methven on 11 as well. Rakaia 11 degrees, Darthfield on 11, Leeston and Rolleston on 11. Lincoln had 11 today and Christchurch 11 degrees for you. Akaroa, a cold day for you as well on 11 degrees. And out in North Canterbury, Kaipui, Rangiora and Amberley all had 11 degrees today. Inland now, Culverden and Hamner Springs, 11 degrees, and same there in Cheviot. Further up along the coast, our friends there in Kaikoura also received 11 degrees today. Now for the weather in your area. Timaru, yes, you have a cold and rainy Friday in store with gusty northeasterlies. Tonight you'll have a low of 8 and tomorrow a high of 12 degrees. And it's wet and windy in Ashburton too, with northeasterlies and plenty of rain about. Tonight's low 8 degrees, tomorrow's high 12. And in Christchurch, strong cold northeasterly winds, but that heavy rain will ease slowly. Tonight's low 8 degrees, tomorrow's high 13. And up in Kaikoura, rain will ease during the day with gusty northeasterlies. Tonight's low 8 degrees, tomorrow's high 13. In other areas around Canterbury, yes, it's rain, rain, rain and more rain for everyone, with heavier falls in the morning. Temuka and Geraldine with 12 degrees. Methven 12 degrees and 12 there in Rakaia. Darthfield, you're on 12 degrees tomorrow, and Leeston 12 degrees also. And in North Canterbury, Kaipui and Rangiora 12 degrees tomorrow. Amberley, you can also expect 12 degrees there. And Culverden, Hamner Springs and Cheviot also have a wet day ahead with 12 degrees. Looking ahead for Canterbury, becoming fine and sunny on Saturday with mild temperatures and breezy northeasterly winds. Fine and mild with winds tending light northerly on Sunday. Fine with higher cloud increasing on Monday and light winds at first. Cloud increasing during the afternoon with cooler southwesterlies developing, some showers from evening. And it's cloudy and cold on Tuesday with showers and moderate southwesterly winds. Wednesday's looking up though, mostly fine and sunny with light to moderate northeasterly winds. And that's your weather update for Thursday. Enjoy your Easter Friday.
And that's CTV News for Thursday. I'm Grant Mangan. Stay warm and dry tomorrow, and let's try to enjoy the rest of the Easter break.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.